The Star Wars universe is vast, its storytelling legacy rich with decades of lore, groundbreaking cinema, and a legion of passionate fans. But as the franchise continues to expand, there are high expectations for those tasked with guiding its future. Simon Kinberg, a name familiar to many, has been involved in some of Hollywood's biggest franchises, and today, we're going to explore why he's a surprisingly good choice to helm the next era of Star Wars films. According to insider reports, a brand new Star Wars trilogy has been greenlit, set to be written and produced by Simon Kinberg. Now, why is this a big deal? Firstly, we didn't expect at all that we'd be getting new Star Wars movies for a while, let alone a new trilogy. The projects currently known to be in the works are the Mandalorian Grogu film, which just wrapped its filming and is set to release in May of 2026, a new Rey movie focused around her rebuilding the Jedi Order after the events of The Last Skywalker. This film is currently still in early stages of production. Indiana Jones 5 director James Mangold is working on a film that will be set thousands of years in the past, focusing on the first Jedi. Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie that will wrap up the entire Mandoverse of shows like Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, and The Mandalorian. Taika Waititi will direct an upcoming Star Wars movie, as well as Sean Levi's Star Wars film, but that one won't start production until Stranger Things Season 5 finishes. All of these projects are supposedly in the works, and this is the first promising news that we've heard in a while. Let's explain why this is important. Simon Kinberg is a skilled writer and producer, capable of righting wrongs and fixing screw-ups. This article from Screen Rant talks about his past filmography and how there's quite a bit of hope for his success. Simon Kinberg has worked with the likes of Doug Liman, Guy Ritchie, and Mick G, and he's written or produced films such as Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Martian, and Sherlock Holmes. Fundamentally though, he's associated with Fox's X-Men franchise, rising through the ranks and becoming increasingly important as the years went on. He's often criticized for the likes of X-Men The Last Stand and X-Men Dark Phoenix, but it's been noted that he wrote hugely popular and critically acclaimed X-Men Days of Future Past as well. For this new Star Wars trilogy, Kinberg seems to be playing to his strengths, only coming onto the project as a writer and producer, leaving directing up to someone yet to be determined. One of Kinberg's defining strengths as a director and writer is his ability to create emotional resonance with high-stake action. Take Logan, his directorial debut for example. The film, while a powerful superhero action film, is also a poignant meditation on aging, legacy, and the desire for redemption. The way Kinberg centers character-driven moments within epic spectacles is the very approach Star Wars needs to move forward. Star Wars is not just about battling in space, it's about the emotional journey of its characters. From Anakin Skywalker's tragic fall to Luke's redemption arc, Star Wars is at its best when it explores the human elements of its heroes and villains. Kinberg's experience with character-driven narratives within grand action spectacles means he's well positioned to deliver a fresh yet emotionally grounded Star Wars saga. Kinberg's track record with franchises like X-Men show he's not afraid to innovate or take risks with the legacy of an established universe. Under his leadership, X-Men Days of Future Past managed to reinvigorate the X-Men franchise by blending elements of time travel with a grounded emotional core, setting the stage for future films. In a similar way, Star Wars needs a visionary who understands that pushing the franchise forward, exploring new eras, and expanding its universe doesn't mean abandoning what made it great. The Star Wars fandom, especially with the rise of shows like Mandalorian and Ahsoka, is eager to see new stories that still honor the franchise's history. Kinberg has the experience to navigate this delicate balance of honoring what came before while creating fresh and bold narratives for the future. Beyond action and spectacle, Kinberg has shown time and time again that he's not afraid to tackle deeper themes. Logan explored the frailty of heroism and the personal cost of a life of violence. The Martian explored human ingenuity and survival against impossible odds. These aren't just surface-level genre films. They grapple with what it means to be human, to struggle, and to evolve. In the same vein, Kinberg could bring the same level of thematic depth to Star Wars. Whether it's delving deeper into the Force, exploring what it means to lead and to expire in a galaxy constantly at war, or unpacking the complex relationship between the light and dark sides of the Force, Kinberg has the narrative chops to explore these concepts with depth and sophistication. Kinberg isn't just a stranger to the galaxy far, far away. He's worked closely with Lucasfilm, notably as an executive producer and writer for Star Wars Rebels. This isn't just a casual credit on his resume. He was deeply involved in shaping the continuation of the saga, from exploring the early days of the Rebellion to introducing key elements like the mystical force of the Kyber crystals. Through Rebels, Kinberg helped introduce new generations of characters like Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger, and Ahsoka Tano. Most importantly, he demonstrated an understanding of how to explore the Star Wars mythos while staying true to its core values. The series' ability to balance humor, adventure, and deep moral dilemmas is a testament to Kinberg's knack for storytelling. Kinberg isn't just a fan of Star Wars. He's shown he has a genuine passion for its deeper meanings. He's not someone who would just slap together a flashy action sequence without understanding the heart of the story. And that's exactly what the next wave of Star Wars films needs. A creator with a clear vision and deep respect for the franchise, and the ambition to take it to exciting new places. Simon Kinberg may not be the most obvious choice for Star Wars, but when you look closer, it's clear he's a perfect fit. His ability to blend complex storytelling with action, his respect for the saga's legacy, and his knack for pushing beloved franchises into bold new territory make him an ideal architect for the next chapter of Star Wars. This was the issue with the sequel trilogy. Some fans celebrated the films for their new characters, thrilling visuals, and nods to the original trilogy, while others criticized the lack of cohesive storytelling that ties the films together. What stands out most, however, is how the sequels often feel disconnected from one another, with each film telling a different story that doesn't always build on what came before. And at the heart of that issue lies a glaring absence of clear, long-term planning. The hopes of Kinberg writing and producing all three films of the trilogy is that there will be cohesiveness and a long-term plan for a story, something that we did not have with the sequels. What comes with this is actual time for characters to develop and change and have an arc, compared to their zigzag whatever the hell happened in the sequel trilogies. One of the central issues with the sequel trilogy is how each film feels disconnected from the others. The Force Awakens sets up multiple mysteries, such as Rey's parentage and the true nature of the First Order. Then, The Last Jedi veers in an entire different direction, abandoning many of those setups in favor of new ideas. Finally, The Rise of Skywalker tries to clean up the mess by introducing Palpatine in a convoluted final battle, but without the careful development needed to make it feel earned. In contrast, Simon Kinberg's experience with writing and producing stories with intricate timelines and complex relations, like X-Men Days of Future Past, show that he can successfully blend past and present timelines in a way that both emotionally resonate and are logically coherent. The film has a clear sense of direction, allowing each narrative thread to build upon the last, while maintaining thematic consistency. When it comes to a Star Wars trilogy, Kinberg's approach would be a welcome shift. He'd lay out the entire arc in advance, ensuring that every character and plotline had a clear progression. Rather than scrambling to tie up loose ends in the final film, each movie would build logically on the last, creating a unified and intentional storyline. Simon Kinberg's connection to Star Wars runs deep. Being an executive producer and writer on Rebels, Kinberg demonstrated an acute understanding of what makes Star Wars resonate with audiences, introducing the new characters while also weaving in familiar elements from the original trilogy, showing his ability to balance the old and new in a meaningful way. One of the key issues of the sequel trilogy was a lack of consistent character development, particularly with the main characters. The Force Awakens sets up Rey as a mysterious figure with hidden potential, but the payoff is unclear, especially when The Last Jedi abandons any notion of her special lineage. In The Rise of Skywalker, Rey's parentage is hastily retconned to be the granddaughter of Emperor Palpatine, leaving fans frustrated with the lack of a coherent character arc. With Kinberg at the helm, rather than pulling story in different directions with each film, Kinberg would be able to ground journeys of characters in something more consistent. His ability to introduce new ideas while maintaining a respect for existing lore could lead to a trilogy where the heritage and connection of characters' ultimate destiny are thoroughly explored across all three films, rather than being contradicted and mishandled in each successive installment. One of the most beloved aspects of Star Wars is its thematic depth. The battle between good and evil, the importance of family, and the journey of self-discovery. Unfortunately, the sequel trilogy often faltered in its thematic execution, with The Force Awakens focusing on mystery and spectacle, The Last Jedi exploring subversion and failure, and The Rise of Skywalker attempting to deliver a nostalgic fanservice conclusion without the emotional weight it needed. Kinberg's work in films like Logan and The Martian demonstrate his ability to tackle deep, resonant themes while still providing an engaging narrative. A Simon Kinberg-helmed Star Wars trilogy would undoubtedly have a stronger, more consistent thematic throughline. Kinberg would make sure that the emotional arcs are not just present, but integral to the narrative, creating a trilogy that feels purposeful from start to finish. Star Wars is known for its epic action sequence, lightsaber duels, and starship battles, but at its core, the franchise has always been about the characters. The sequel trilogy often struggled to balance its action with the deeper character development that Star Wars is known for. While The Force Awakens had plenty of spectacle, it left many key character arcs undeveloped. The Last Jedi took risks, but at times abandoned the emotional stakes in favor of bold, divisive choices. The Rise of Skywalker went all in on action and spectacle, but the lack of character depth undermined the emotional impact. Kinberg's ability to weave character development into high-stakes action is something that could greatly benefit Star Wars. In X-Men Days of Future Past, the film successfully balanced thrilling action sequences with the emotional arcs of characters like Wolverine, Magneto, and Professor X. Kinberg understands that action in Star Wars isn't just about fighting, it's about what the characters are fighting for. He would create a trilogy that feels dynamic but also emotionally grounded, with stakes that matter not just for the galaxy but for the characters we care about. One of the biggest problems with the Star Wars sequel trilogy was its lack of long-term planning. Each film felt like it was reacting to the last, with different directors and writers pulling the story in different directions. The Force Awakens laid down intriguing foundations, but The Last Jedi shifted gears, and The Rise of Skywalker tried to fix everything without a cohesive vision. Kinberg, however, has demonstrated time and time again that he can think long-term and plan for an overarching story. His work on Rebels showed he understands the importance of building towards something meaningful rather than just focusing on one installment at a time. He would craft a trilogy with a clear direction from start to finish, ensuring that every element, from character arcs to thematic exploration to plot twists, would feel like a part of a cohesive story. No more scrambling to resolve plot points in the final film. The recent success of shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka show that Star Wars can thrive where there is a clear vision for its stories. These series are successful because they take the time to explore characters and concepts deeply while respecting the rich lore of the Star Wars universe. Simon Kinberg could bring the same approach to a new trilogy, allowing for more intricate world building, a steady focus on character growth, and a narrative that feels like it's all leading somewhere meaningful. In the end, Star Wars is about more than just battles. It's about understanding the heart of its characters, the struggles that define them, and the expansive universe they inhabit. Simon Kinberg understands this as well as anyone, and that's why he could be the key to unlocking the next great Star Wars story. Thanks everyone for watching. May the Force be with you.